You want to be persistent about what it is that you want to achieve. Alexander Graham Bell said, "What this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists, and it becomes available only when a man or a woman is in that state of mind in which he or she knows exactly what he or she wants and is fully determined not to quit until they find it." When our children are learning how to walk, how many times will your baby attempt to walk and fall and you just say, "Just sit down, don't try anymore, you've fallen 20 times. Just sit down somewhere," busting your lip and everything, getting in folks' way. When will a baby walk? It will walk when it walks. That's when it will walk. Les, when will you be known nationally as the motivator? I will be known when I'm known. That's when I'll be known. Don't get caught up in, well, I've tried it 4 or 5 times and things didn't work out. If there's something that you want and you're hungry for it, you've got to do whatever is necessary until. And when you give the best you can and that's not enough, you must do what is required. And don't give up on yourself. Don't throw the towel in so quickly. Many people give up on the 1-yard line, where if they have the determination just to keep on knocking. It's a funny thing about life. If you're home one day and someone is knocking on the door and you say, "I don't want to be bothered today," and if that person just keep on knocking, say, "Can you believe that fool's still knocking?" Pretty soon you say, "What is it? What do you want?" And that's how you've got to be about your dream. Some people, well, I guess ain't nobody home. I knocked on the door, but nobody came. I heard the television on and people were moving around, but I guess opportunity probably went out the back door. Oh, no. See, life is not just that simple. It's not that cut and dry. And that's why most people never realize their personal greatness, because they're casual about life. And when you are casual about life, you will end up a casualty. Life is serious business. So I encourage you to be persistent, to not decide that, well, I've done the best I can, I guess I just can't have it. Don't make that decision. Many of us make premature decisions about ourselves. Calvin Coolidge said something, a man who was a president that was not known for his eloquence or making any historical decisions, but something he wrote about persistence. And he says, "Press on. Nothing can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. The world is full of unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent."
If you were to choose just one part of your personality to develop that would virtually guarantee your success, persistence would be your choice. Napoleon Hill suggested that there may be no heroic connotation to the word persistence, but he said the quality is to the character of the human like what carbon is to steel. Persistence is going to keep you going in the face of almost every obstacle that you can imagine. It is based upon your focus being directed towards the positive polarity in life. Now, its negative brother will bring you nothing but miserable disappointments, heartache, and tears. His name, of course, is stubbornness. So you want to stay on the positive polarity. It's a well-documented fact that a high percentage of all goals that are set are abandoned, usually fairly early. Numerous dreams fade and are lost because this one great quality has never been developed. And it's not that people don't try, they do. However, for the most part, individuals who fail to develop persistence are operating with a misconception, which very likely results from their ignorance of the law of cause and effect. That's a law that Emerson referred to as the law of laws. Now, it's generally believed that a lack of persistence is caused by a weak willpower. person could actually have a very highly evolved willpower and still lack persistence. Build an image in your mind of a hypothetical individual. We'll let this person be represented by our mind-body illustration that we've been using. Then say this person also believes that a weak willpower is the cause of a lack of persistence. Now, this person could be attempting to win a battle that's never going to be won. The cause of their problem lies in the image that they're emotionally involved with. You see, their problem is then compounded with the false belief that their behavior is the primary cause of their unwanted result. Behavior is always a secondary cause of results. The primary cause of a result is the image that is firmly planted in the subconscious mind, which must be expressed in behavior. I want you to realize that. You take a look at results, you've got to clearly understand that behavior is a secondary cause. We say behavior causes results, and it does, but it's a secondary cause. The image that's held in the mind is the primary cause of results, and the image in the mind must be expressed in behavior. That's what's causing you to act the way you act. I'm not suggesting the will does not have to be developed. It does. It must become highly developed. However, the will always directs you toward the image you are emotionally involved with. Think of a person who is 50 pounds overweight. That shouldn't be too difficult for you. And you've just met this person and they've gone on a diet to lose weight. 5 years later, they're 50 pounds overweight and they're still going on a diet to lose weight. They honestly believe that their problem is a lack of willpower because they persist to adhere to the habitual behavior, the unwanted behavior of eating the forbidden fruit. This person has failed to create an image of the new result they desire, a vision of themselves at their perfect weight. And therefore, they've never properly planted such an image in their subconscious mind, which they could hold and continue to nourish through visualization and affirmation until it has gained strength over the image, causing the result they do not want. Now, their willpower is working probably very well, but it is directing them toward the expression of the old unwanted image that they're still emotionally involved with. See, the old image is being expressed through the behavioral patterns that'll cause the repeated manifestation of the old image. And they get the same results over and over and over and over again. They're on a diet forever. The individual's real problem is a lack of understanding of what is causing the results that they're getting in their life. Results they do not want. The results they're attempting to change. They view their behavior as the cause of their unwanted results. And they repeatedly attempt to be persistent in changing those behavioral patterns, but fail time and time again. You see, their habitual behavior is a natural expression of the image that's deeply planted in their subconscious mind. There's not a person alive who is able to persist in the change of a behavior without altering the image which is causing that behavior. When you're attempting to change behavior, your persistence must be continually connected to your desired vision, a vision that you're emotionally involved with. Your intellectual factors hold the potential for enormous good when they're properly employed. However, you must remember that everything has an opposite, and any one of your intellectual factors can turn without warning into a destructive, lethal enemy when they're not directed towards the results that are wanted. You see, it's not difficult to find an individual who's persistently doing what they don't want to do and achieving results they don't want to achieve. A lack of persistence is not their problem. How they're using their persistence is. Ignorance and paradigms are the enemy that we must defeat. Everyone is persistent. Our objective must be to put persistence to work for us rather than against us.
Those who have cultivated the habit of persistence seem to enjoy insurance against failure. No matter how many times they are defeated, they finally arrive up toward the top of the ladder. Sometimes it appears that there is a hidden guide whose duty is to test men through all sorts of discouraging experiences. Those who pick themselves up after defeat and keep on trying arrive, and the world cries, "Bravo! I knew you could do it." The hidden guide lets no one enjoy great achievement without passing the persistence test. Those who can't take it simply do not make the grade. Those who can take it are bountifully rewarded for their persistence. They receive as their compensation whatever goal they are pursuing. That is not all. They receive something infinitely more important than material compensation: the knowledge that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. There are exceptions to this rule. A few people know from experience the soundness of persistence. They are the ones who have not accepted defeat as being anything more than temporary. They are the ones whose desires are so persistently applied that defeat is finally changed into victory. We who stand on the sidelines of life see the overwhelmingly large number who go down in defeat, never to rise again. We see the few who take the punishment of defeat as an urge to greater effort. These, fortunately, never learn to accept life's reverse gear. But what we do not see, what most of us never suspect of existing, is the silent but irresistible power which comes to the rescue of those who fight on in the face of discouragement. If we speak of this power at all, we call it persistence, and let it go at that. One thing we all know: if one does not possess persistence, one does not achieve noteworthy success in any calling. As these lines are being written, I look up from my work and see before me, less than a block away, the great mysterious Broadway, the graveyard of dead hopes, and the front porch of opportunity. From all over the world, people have come to Broadway seeking fame, fortune, power, love, or whatever it is that human beings call success. Once in a great while, someone steps out from the long procession of seekers, and the world hears that another person has mastered Broadway. But Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. She acknowledges talent, recognizes genius, pays off in money, only after one has refused to quit. Then we know he has discovered the secret of how to conquer Broadway. The secret is always inseparably attached to one word: persistence. The secret is told in the struggle of Fannie Hurst, whose persistence conquered the Great White Way. She came to New York in 1915 to convert writing into riches. The conversion did not come quickly, but it came. For 4 years, Miss Hurst learned about the sidewalks of New York from first-hand experience. She spent her days laboring and her nights hoping. When hope grew dim, she did not say, "All right, Broadway, you win." She said, "Very well, Broadway, you may whip some, but not me. I'm going to force you to give up." One publisher, the Saturday Evening Post, sent her 36 rejection slips before she broke the ice and got a story across. The average writer, like the average in other walks of life, would have given up the job when the first rejection slip came. She pounded the pavements for 4 years to the tune of the publisher's no, because she was determined to win. Then came the payoff. The spell had been broken. The unseen guide had tested Fannie Hurst, and she could take it. From that time on, publishers made a beaten path to her door. Money came so fast, she hardly had time to count it. Then the moving picture men discovered her, and money came not in small change, but in floods. The moving picture rights to her latest novel, Great Laughter, brought $100,000, said to be the highest price ever paid for a story before publication. Her royalties from the sale of the book probably will run much more. Briefly, you have a description of what persistence is capable of achieving. Fannie Hurst is no exception. Wherever men and women accumulate great riches, you may be sure they first acquired persistence. Broadway will give any beggar a cup of coffee and a sandwich, but it demands persistence of those who go after the big stakes. Kate Smith will say amen when she reads this. For years, she sang without money and without price before any microphone she could reach. Broadway said to her, "Come and get it if you can take it." She did take it, until one happy day Broadway got tired and said, "What's the use? You don't know when you're whipped, so name your price and go to work in earnest." Miss Smith named her price. It was plenty. Away up in figures so high that 1 week's salary is far more than most people make in a whole year. Verily, it pays to be persistent. And here is an encouraging statement which carries with it a suggestion of great significance. Thousands of singers who excel Kate Smith are walking up and down Broadway looking for a break, without success. Countless others have come and gone. Many of them sang well enough, but they failed to make the grade because they lacked the courage to keep on keeping on, until Broadway became tired of turning them away. Persistence is a state of mind, therefore it can be cultivated. Like all states of mind, persistence is based upon definite causes. Among them, these. A. Definiteness of purpose. Knowing what one wants is the first and perhaps the most important step toward the development of persistence. A strong motive forces one to surmount many difficulties. B. Desire. It is comparatively easy to acquire and to maintain persistence in pursuing the object of intense desire. C. Self-reliance. Belief in one's ability to carry out a plan encourages one to follow the plan through with persistence. Self-reliance can be developed through the principle described in the chapter on autosuggestion. D. Definiteness of plans. Organized plans, even though they may be weak and entirely impractical, encourage persistence. E. Accurate knowledge. Knowing that one's plans are sound, based upon experience or observation, encourages persistence. Guessing instead of knowing destroys persistence. F. Cooperation. Sympathy, understanding, and harmonious cooperation with others tend to develop persistence. G. Willpower. The habit of concentrating one's thoughts upon the building of plans for the attainment of a definite purpose leads to persistence. H. Habit. Persistence is the direct result of habit. The mind absorbs and becomes a part of the daily experiences upon which it feeds. Fear, the worst of all enemies, can be effectively cured by forced repetition of courage. Everyone who has seen active service in war knows this. Before leaving the subject of persistence, take inventory of yourself and determine in what particular, if any, you are lacking in this essential quality. Measure yourself courageously, point by point, and see how many of the 8 factors of persistence you lack. The analysis may lead to discoveries that will give you a new grip on yourself.